Generations, 2 families, 3 lifetimes. Generations, daytime drama with a difference. Generations, black and white in color. Generations, coming to NBC.
Local utilities, recreation, where to shop, things to see and do. You name it, you'll find it in yellow. The fingertip facts section in front of your Southwestern Bell Yellow Pages. The one to call on for everything. Whatever you're looking for, you'll find it in yellow. The Southwestern Bell Yellow Pages. The one to call on for everything.
The best coffee in the world is out there. You just have to know where to find it. Hills Brothers goes all over the world to buy the best coffee beans. That's what makes Hills Brothers what it is. A world-class coffee. Some people think decaffeinated coffee is second class. Not Hills Brothers. They buy the best coffee beans from all over the world. Hills Brothers Naturally Decaffeinated isn't second class. It's world class.
No matter how much you pay for a hamburger, it's still the same old hamburger. But if you're looking for something different, now there's an even better reason to look at Arby's. Because right now, our delicious, slow-roasted regular roast beef sandwich is just 99 cents. Another burger deal? Big deal. When you can taste the Arby's difference for just 99 cents, now that's a great deal. Arby's regular roast beef sandwich, now just 99 cents for a limited time only. KXAS TV.
He's running really scared. That's great. I'm glad he is.
They ain't want nobody to see it. It looks bad.
I think the Supreme Court's decision in Roe versus Wade was wrong.
The news continues with the night team. Brad Wright, Alice Carone, Scott Murray, and Harold Taft. And now, Channel 5 News Tonight.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining us. Alice is off tonight. After 10 years on death row, Theodore Bundy has 9 hours left to live.
And his lawyers are using every one of them trying to stop his execution. But about an hour ago, one maneuver failed when the Supreme Court turned down his request for a stay. Bundy was convicted of 3 murders, but he may have committed 10 times as many or more. And Bundy is still confessing to killings, ironically counting on them to keep him alive a little longer.
There are so many questions that only Bundy can answer. So many heartbroken parents and humiliated police departments wondering if he's responsible for the crimes they can't seem to solve. But one of the people working on Bundy's defense says this has turned into a sideshow, a circus. 3 other execution dates have come and gone, and Bundy is still alive. But somebody inside the state prison in Stark says things are different this time.
They say that he's running scared right now. He's got one more appeal, and it looks like it's going to be turned down, and he's running really scared. And that's great. I'm glad he is.
Bundy murdered Dale Rancourt's daughter, and Eleanor Rose's.
And I thought to myself, the electric chair is too good for him.
But for years, Bundy was too good to be caught. Young women kept disappearing in Washington, Utah, other western states, until their bodies were found. There's a list of 36, and Bundy may have done them all. But this one did him in. A 12-year-old girl in Lake City, Florida, and 2 sorority sisters at Florida State University. 3 killings, 3 convictions, and now the confessions to who knows how many more. A man who wrote a book about Bundy says his only remorse is that he got caught and he's going to die.
I think he was born to kill. There was just, I don't know if it's a bad seed or what, but boy, he is just totally consumed with murder.
Kathleen Taylor of the ACLU says anybody in their right mind hates that man. But is Bundy in his right mind? Psychiatrists interviewed him in prison today. His lawyers say Bundy is mentally incompetent to be executed. Later, we'll go live to Florida to interview a man who will witness the Bundy execution. Fred?
Elsewhere in the news, heated words were exchanged today between Fort Worth Police Chief Thomas Wyndham and the Tarrant County Commissioners. They're at odds over the jail overcrowding problem. Channel 5's Tim Herrera tells us tomorrow city officials will consider a controversial proposal that could ease the situation.
On East Berry Street in South Fort Worth sits a 500,000 square feet of emptiness, the old Brandt Furniture Factory.
You know, you look down, you go out in this thing.
Bill Robinson thinks the space can be useful. He wants the city to approve this as a site to house prisoners and teach them a trade.
The best way that the prison system can teach responsibility today is to give a man a so-called job that calls for responsibility.
The plan is to turn this old factory into a secure working and living environment for prisoners working toward parole. Companies are being courted to do business here.
This room here.
Reverend Milford Kelly thinks that's bad business. He runs Mount Rose Baptist Church. The proposed facility is a half-mile from his church and a brand new but empty daycare center. Kelly insists neighbors don't want inmates nearby.
They just killed a bunch of kids, you know, somewhere, some maniac, you know, so could come in and do the same thing. It could happen without the prison. But I feel like percentage-wise, it's a greater risk.
However, no sex offenders, no violent offenders would stay here. The State Parole Board says that in the 600 square blocks surrounding this area, there are about 700 parolees living. Corrections concept people say that it only makes sense to bring help to the area where they feel there is such a great need. If the Fort Worth Council disagrees and votes against the idea tomorrow, inmates will have to work and train for a future somewhere else. Tim Herrera, Channel 5 News Tonight in Fort Worth.
In downtown Dallas earlier today, more than 2,000 anti-abortion protesters rallied on the anniversary of the Supreme Court's Roe v. Wade decision. The protesters carried signs, sang songs, and recited prayers that the Supreme Court would overturn its 16-year-old ruling. A bell was sounded 23 times in remembrance of the 23 million aborted fetuses nationwide. The historic case came out of a Dallas federal courtroom. In Washington, D.C., President Bush addressed the anti-abortion demonstrators by telephone hookup to a PA system. He called abortion our American tragedy.
I think the Supreme Court's decision in Roe versus Wade was wrong and should be overturned. And I think when it comes to abortion, there's a better way. The way of adoption. The way of life.
About 45,000 people attended the rally across from the White House.
The Soviet Union tonight is reeling from another earthquake. This one may have killed up to 1,000 people. Officials say the quake struck early this morning in a mountainous area of Soviet Central Asia. Several small villages were hard hit. It is feared one of them, Shamora, may have been completely wiped out. The tremor triggered a mudslide that quickly buried the town of 600. Rescue teams are searching for survivors while Soviet soldiers work on bringing in supplies and restoring power to the area. It is the strongest quake to hit the Soviet Union since last December, when about 25,000 people died in the quake that hit Armenia.
Still ahead tonight, as we've told you, Ted Bundy is scheduled to die tomorrow morning in Florida's electric chair unless his attorneys can work a miracle tonight. We'll update that story.
Also, city officials here are denying accusations that they're trying to stop the flow of free food to the homeless, thereby forcing them to go elsewhere. We'll tell you what the city does plan to do next.
You don't work for a company, you are the company. You take the risks, you get the rewards. That's why there's the corporate card with unique benefits for small business, like quarterly management reports, disability coverage, car rental damage insurance, even savings on hotels. Call 1-800-6S or take one. It's a business card that does things a little differently, a little better, like you. The corporate card from American Express to your success.
Right now, buy any Pizza Inn pizza and get a 32-ounce Quencher squeeze bottle free. Dine in, take out, or delivery. Take home a Quencher bottle today, free from Pizza Inn.
Next on The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson, Danny DeVito has a special delivery.
At 6:28, we had the baby. It was like 40 minutes. It was like the log flume. I mean,
Yakov Smirnoff delivers.
First of all, Gorbachev did not want to come to America, but Raisa Gorbachev wanted to see top Russian ballet dancers.
And the Pointer Sisters go first class.
Jada's coming home.
Coming up next.
Boy, you betcha.
The city of Dallas is considering regulating free food handouts to the homeless.
City officials say the new rules will safeguard the health and safety of the homeless. But as Channel 5's Shelley Kaufler reports, some believe the regulations are a way of hiding the long food lines that tarnish the city's image.
Lunchtime in downtown Dallas. Homeless lined up for an indoor meal. Show an ID. Off-duty police control the crowd. But after the sun goes down, a more conspicuous group gathers under the I-45 bridge. The city is now considering new rules and a single location for those who serve food outside. Talk of regulation makes some homeless suspicious. They charge the city has already pushed the food providers from location to location and finally to the edge of town.
They didn't want nobody to see us, you know. I mean, we was out there, you know, people drive by, you know, and it looks bad, you know. They feel like, well, we don't want that.
The Big Heart Ministries has fed thousands of homeless with food prepared in its mobile van. Don Hart claims the city has selectively enforced current laws in an effort to disband the food providers who draw hundreds to their outdoor meals. Hart does not oppose rules to ensure the food served is healthy, but he worries the city will choose a restrictive site, fence it off, use guards, and intimidate the homeless.
I wouldn't want that message sent to me that this is where I'm confined, that I'm at Starlock 13 and I've got to stay right here.
We want to ensure that any organization that wants to feed the homeless can do so. At the same time, we also want to ensure that the public health is protected.
The city insists its objective is safety and says a single site would make it easier to supply toilets and dumpsters for sanitation. The city confirms possible sites include the current I-45 location, the second floor of the center now housing homeless programs, City Hall Plaza, and the Trailways bus station. Although proposed rules and sites will not go to the council till April, interested parties predict a lively debate between now and then. Shelley Koffler, Channel 5 News, tonight.
As we told you at the top of the program, convicted killer Ted Bundy is on death row in Florida, scheduled to be executed tomorrow morning.
Reporter Mike Vasalinda will witness the execution, barring any last-minute stay. Vasalinda has covered the Bundy story since the two killings at FSU in 1978. Now, Mike, I know you've already witnessed one execution in the past. Without trying to be macabre about it, give us an idea of what's likely to happen tomorrow at 7, and why do you want to be there to see it?
Well, let me answer that first. I want to be there because this is the logical end of this story. I was there on that January morning when the two sorority girls were found murdered in Tallahassee. I walked with Ted Bundy up and down the sidewalks to the courtroom. I was in the room when he was read the indictments. I've been with this all the way. I think this is the logical end to it. What do we expect? He will be walked into the room. We are told he'll probably walk in like a man, head held high. He will sit down in the chair. He'll have guards on each side of him. He'll be strapped in, allowed to make a final statement. Then they'll pull a mask over his head and attach the electrodes, and it's over at that point.
Mike, the Supreme Court has already turned down his latest appeal for a stay. What about Bundy's attempts to have himself ruled incompetent to stand trial?
We don't know if that has been the lawyer's plan all day long or not, but they did have a psychiatrist in there with him for several hours this morning. At this hour, the phone lines at the Florida governor's mansion are open. They are waiting to hear whether or not Bundy's lawyers will make that final plea that he's incompetent to be executed. If he should do that, there are 3 state-hired psychiatrists inside the prison right now. They will examine Bundy, report to the governor, and then he'll make a decision from there. Our state law would prohibit the execution of an insane inmate.
Why do you think he waited this long to try that maneuver?
I'm not sure they're going to try it. He, I think, could never come to grips from what we understand in his own personality that there was a disorder, at least not until tonight. Now, we heard today from the one man that has seen him today that he has shown remorse and that he has broken down and confessed to the killings. So I think until today he's been unable to come to grips with the idea that he may be insane, and he's forbidden his attorneys, at least until this point, to seek that kind of relief.
All right, reporter Mike Vasalinda outside the state prison in Stark, Florida. Thank you very much tonight, Mike.
Coming up next here on Channel 5 News tonight, Tim Matthews with all the sports news. We hope you'll stick around. We'll be right back.
With its optional Vortec V6, the Chevy S10 long bed truck has enough power to haul home lots of groceries, which makes S10 the perfect truck to have when you've got a hungry family to feed.
That's today's Chevy truck.
For just $76.82, the Chevy S10EL gives you racing stripes, fuel injection, and a 5-speed.
If that's all that truck costs, I'll be a monkey's uncle.
Bon appetit.
So are you doing all right?
Yeah, I'm doing fine.
Dad was afraid I'd find a starving artist up here.
Oh, Dad was worried.
Okay. I admit, I was a bit worried when my little sister took off on her own.
I'm not so little anymore.
Here, let me get that.
No way. Mine.
American Express, huh? I'm gonna stop worrying about you.
Making you feel like a million. To become a member, look for this display and take one.
Since our earliest commercials, we've shown you how we hand twist Mrs. Baird's bread. Now, that's not the way everyone does it, but we think it's important. I'm Vernon Baird, and today, Baird family members like Scott still make sure Mrs. Baird's bread is twisted by hand. That way, you get a loaf of bread that doesn't just feel fresh, but one that tastes fresh. Sure, we could make bread exactly the way other folks do, but then it wouldn't be Mrs. Baird's bread.
Mavs are off tonight, but it is important because Air Jordan's coming to town tomorrow. They're going to need the rest.
No, they're going to be in Chicago.
Oh, well, whatever.
But they still need the time to get ready.
Believe
for
me.
it, you know. Last time he played, he had 53. So, yeah, they need the time off. Mavericks are off tonight. They'll take on Michael Jordan and the Bulls tomorrow night in Chicago. Tonight, two of the best teams will win at it in Cleveland. Golden State had an 8-game winning streak. Cleveland, of course, the best record in the NBA. Larry Nance hits the baseline jumper. He had 22 to pace the Cavaliers. Then it's Ron Harper from Mark Price. He had 21. And look at the final score. Cleveland demolishes Golden State's 8-game winning streak, 142 to 109 the final. Cavaliers are now 30-7 on the year. One other game in the NBA, it's Denver losing, and they did lose a final now to Indiana, 117 to 102. San Antonio, meanwhile, broke their losing streak at 7. They beat Miami. Number 2, Georgetown against St. John's in college basketball. That's Jaren Jackson after the steal going in for the layup, and Georgetown led St. John's by 10. Then Charles Smith draws the foul. The ball bounces and then falls, gets the three-point play, and Georgetown wins it by 11, beating St. John's 75-64. Illinois is the new #1 team in college basketball. They're the only team left undefeated. They're now 17-0. Georgetown is at second, then Louisville, Oklahoma, and Missouri. Then Arizona is at 6. North Carolina moves up to 7. Duke has dropped 2 straight, and they've dropped all the way from #1 to #8. Number 9 is Seton Hall, and 10th-ranked Michigan is playing Indiana right now. The 49ers are still reveling in yesterday's Super Bowl victory. The city of San Francisco shut down today as everyone crowded into the streets for the traditional Winners Parade. Tens of thousands of fans cheered as the 49ers toured the city for the 3rd time in the last 7 years. One of the happiest players was former UTA star Tim McKyer, who boldly guaranteed a San Francisco victory before the game.
Words can't describe how I feel. I have so much respect for each player on this team, it's unreal.
How about that final drive?
That final drive, it reminded me of Joe Montana in the Cotton Bowl. You remember that. And thank God I was on the team with him, and he did it for me.
The Quaker State Open will begin a little bit later this week at the Forum Bowl in Grand Prairie. But tonight, a few of the pros, including Mark Roth and Randy Patterson, were joined by Lisa Wagner from the Ladies Tour for an exhibition. And watch this trick shot. They hit, but no, they can't get the 110 split. But it was a nice try anyway. Tomorrow is the Pro-Am at Forum Bowl, and then the tournament will begin on Wednesday. Rangers minority owner Edward Gaylord will find out tomorrow if he will receive approval to buy out Eddie Childs. The Major League owners will meet in Chicago and vote on Gaylord's bid to purchase Childs' 58% interest. If he doesn't get the nod, George Bush Jr. appears to be the front-runner to become the next owner. Despite who the next owner is, Rick Leach will be a member of the Rangers this summer. He agreed to a 1-year contract today. He'll be used as a backup outfielder, a pinch hitter, and a left-handed designated hitter. Spent the last 5 seasons in Toronto. So he's a backup. That means he's probably going to make about $500,000 a year, the way baseball goes now. One of those secondary salaries, huh?
Doesn't even need it.
Okay, Tim, thanks.
See you later.
Well, the week got off to a mild start weather-wise, but glimpses of that Texas sunshine may be few and far between.
Harold has been keeping his eye on the sky. He'll be along momentarily to let us know if we'll feel much of winter this week. Don't go away.
We interrupt this purchase for a reminder.
I've got to have it.
There's still one more place to comparison shop.
I don't know where to start.
Here, by choosing the card that actually pays you cash. Cash back for every charge. The Discover card.
That's the one.
It's perfect.
It pays to Discover, the card that pays you back.
Red Baron.
Red Baron Pizza, microwave singles, an unexpected pleasure.
Whoever said the first impression is the only one that counts never owned an Acura Legend sedan. Because while the Legend may look good on the showroom floor, it won't truly shine until the odometer has lost a few zeros. Which may explain why, for the second year in a row, the owners of Acura automobiles voted them the most satisfying cars on the road. And that may be the best impression of all, a lasting one.
Well, now there's a picture of the stock show. Give you some idea what's going on. Greg Promise out there after dark tonight, and something to behold if you haven't been out. The weather has been just ideal, and tomorrow won't be too bad. Wednesday, not too bad either. The temperature's going to be above normal. Right now, the temperature's reading 60 degrees. Okay, we started off the day with a reading of 45. Now, that's above normal. See, normal should be about 34. Got up to 64. That was 10 degrees above normal. And a year ago, temperatures ranged from 28 to 64. High temperatures of the day. Look at this. Remember now, the high temperature, average high temperature this time of year should be about 54. Look at this. 66 at Meacham, 63 Dallas Love Field, 68, 73. What else? Let's see. There's 71 down at Corpus Christi, 73 at Brownsville, and there's 70 out at Midland. There's 72 at Lubbock. So you can just get some kind of an idea about how intense this warm and dry weather is. Now, there has been a little shower activity down here in the southeast, and I'll show you that in just a moment. But right now, here's a satellite picture, and you can see all the cloudiness up across Texas. Watch how it kind of moves from the southwest toward the northeast, which indicates, of course, that it's the high clouds because the lower clouds are coming up out of the south and forming in this layer right here. There's a rather complex weather chart, but just looking at the Texas analysis right now, there is rain down here in the southern part of the state. Our radar is searching down. We just got on the 125-mile range now. It's searching down here, just catching this part. When you look at the radar in a moment, you'll see just a band right down in here. That's what we're seeing. But actually, see, it extends all the way on down into the Gulf with an area of showers and light rain, and it's moving. Although the winds are out of the south, this is moving primarily toward the northeast. Oh, I don't really think we'll catch anything up here. Just be cloudy and look kind of ugly. Cold front pushing on down into the Oklahoma Panhandle is going to be slow moving on into Texas. Temperatures, though, right here now, 10 o'clock. It's 60 degrees at Meacham, 61 Dallas Love. And the temperatures out here in the drier air, a little bit cooler. There's 46 where it was 72 this afternoon, and 54, 55 up there in the Panhandle. And down here in the south where it's warm and humid and some rain, temperatures 65, 62, 63, 58 there at Austin. I know probably the thought is, well, if it's raining, it ought to be cooler, but not when the air is so warm to start with. On the national map, there's rather extensive cloud cover from the Gulf all the way to the Great Lakes. East Coast is in pretty good shape, just a little cloudiness right along the coast, but areas of fog and snow and even freezing drizzle up here in the Nebraska Panhandle, North Platte on up in toward Rapid City, and then this is much colder air and getting some snow up here in Montana and into Wyoming. This freezing drizzle is going to give them some travel problems in the morning. Now they've had some snow out in Utah, but it's been, well, patchy. It hasn't been just covering the whole area. Had 5 inches at Logan, Utah, and we've got 4 to 8 inches of snow forecast for the mountains up here in California as a storm has come in now from the southern part of the Pacific, and it'll follow the wind flow pattern in the upper levels, which is going to bring it around and off into the east. It'll develop another one over here, and then that one will push on down. After this has happened about twice, then the cold air will come down into our area. When? Oh, gosh, it's hard to say, but right now we think Thursday is our best bet for that. In the meantime, we're just going to be warm and humid, and there'll be a little intermittent rain and showers down here in South Texas, East Texas, on up into Arkansas and up into the north, and oh, we could, I suppose, get a little light drizzle of an early morning up here in this area, but even that would be pretty spotty. Temperatures, current readings now. These are current readings as of 10 o'clock. Denver, into the cold air, 31, compared with 60 down here, 48 at Wichita, Kansas in the cold air. It's cold, 12 degrees up there at Bismarck, 19 at Glasgow, Montana. And let's see. Oh, I got to tell you this. Green Bay, Wisconsin, and Alpena, Michigan, 2 usually very, very cold spots this time of the year, had record high temperatures today, got up to 46 degrees, which is record high for them. Temperatures along the East Coast in the upper 30s. Now, in the morning, We think our temperature will be about 54. The winds will be south. We'll be under the cloud cover, but the showers will be off to the east and may extend even on up into the